everyone, and welcome to another episode here on the J72 Gaming channel. My name is Jacob, but you can just call me Jay here. As many of you may know, the Isle Evrima just released Update 3 in beta form for all of us to stress test. I've been having a blast swimming around as the Deinosuchus and flying as the Pteranodon, and in today's video I want to share with you what I've noticed has changed about the map. New locations, slight changes to river routes, and even some structures that managed to remain. I'm going to show off everything that I've found about the map changes. And stay tuned to the end to find a new hidden cave that I managed to find. I'm sure not many people have found it. So if you like these location-based videos about the Isle, please remember to slap that like button. Give me a follow if you want to stay up to date on the coolest new locations around the Isle Spiro map. But with that all out of the way, make sure you guys sit back, kick back, go grab a snack. Let's get into today's episode about the new Update 3 map changes. So right off the bat here, you may have noticed during the intro that I was soaring high above the map. The Pteranodon is truly a gift for us map explorers, so you'll be seeing a ton of aerial shots in today's video. Hopefully the intro gave you kind of a good overview of the new map at a glance, but let's take this video one map section at a time, starting with the northwest and working our way down to the southeast. I'll be using these two maps shown here as a reference during the video to try and help you get an understanding of where each location actually is. So first up, the most northwestern spot on the map. Previously, this section had a small little pond chilling by the ocean's beach. It was a pretty unique little spot, and sadly it didn't make it into the new updated map. Honestly, I'm pretty bummed to lose this spot. Now, it's just a bunch of trees, and they took away a cool little secluded area of the map. Honestly, with the loss of this spot, I can't rightfully recommend hanging out in the northwestern spot of the map on the northwestern side of the mountain. They did change this cool cliff area, making it a bit more rugged and interesting, but with the lack of water, it isn't very viable to grow your dinosaur in this area. The other cool thing in the northwest that managed to remain is the human warehouse, which is still pretty cool, but without the small water pond nearby, it makes it very hard to live anywhere else west of the center river. Still northwest, but on the eastern side of the mountain, is the Giant Arch Falls. This location did manage to remain in the map, as many of the cool and interesting waterfalls you'll find out did. This one, however, has its rivers adjusted on both the top and bottom side of the falls. The river at the top is a bit wider than before, but more or less similar. It eventually dead ends at a rock feature. But the water leading down the river is all new. Previously, the river led into the rock pond, which was a very popular spot in the previous version of the map, but now it has all been replaced with a long winding river which eventually leads to the main central river, but we'll get to that spot shortly. The last thing to mention about the north is the lack of the old spire rock, which previously could be seen from pretty much about every angle of the map. The new mountain is basically the same, but I think they removed the old cave rock and the jungle gym. I haven't searched around there for too much for these spots, so let me know if it's something I missed and if they're still hanging around. They were always pretty tough to find, but from the air, I just couldn't spot them. So now let's talk about that center river in the map. This river is huge, and easily the main spot of the new map. Dominating the landscape right in the middle is what I'm going to be calling Pteranodon Rock, mainly because I can see a ton of Pteranodons nesting here in the future, but also because this is where the old Utah Rock used to be, which has not made it into the map rework. Almost all of the center of the map has changed due to this large rock mass being implemented, but the river itself has changed a ton as well. However, at the southern end of this river is the old Pocket Pool, which has managed to survive the update with it being one of those cool waterfalls from the past, which I'm super stoked about, because this is one of the neatest little spots of the map, and I'm glad to see it survive and stick around. The turret rock feature just east of this pond is also still around, and it's worth mentioning quickly. The last thing I want to mention about the northwest section of the map is the roads, and this kind of applies to the whole map in general. In general, the roads are gone. Sections of the roads have stuck around, like this area near the Giant Arch Falls, or some spots down in the southeast, which we'll touch upon later, but mostly they are gone. This is actually a big shame for me personally, as I was a huge fan of the roads. Some of you may have seen some of my old videos where I've live streamed even, where I undertook the challenge called the Tenontosaurus Road Warrior Challenge, where I lived my entire life on the roads of Evrima, and, well, now that type of challenge just isn't possible anymore. The roads also remind you that the Isle is meant to have humans eventually, and their presence is seen here and around the map. So from the radio tower to the human structures, the roads helped remind the player that humans are coming, and that essentially them being removed is kind of a shame in my opinion in that aspect. Speaking of the radio tower, however, it did manage to survive, and you'll have seen it at the start of this video when I took off from the top of the antenna. This is easily the highest point on the map, and I recommend every Pteranodon player to make the journey up here at some point. Soaring from the top is the best way to see the map as a whole, and the ability to just glide your way to anywhere on the map is kind of a special treat. Mount Jugger, which the tower stands on, also did not get any rework to it, and it is still the largely challenging mountain to climb like it was before. Not impossible for terrestrial dinos, but definitely not as easy as flying up to it like we can now. So now let's move on to the eastern half of the map, and let's start by taking to the northeast section first. Not much has changed here if I'm honest. There has been some major rework of the terrain in parts, but that has kind of happened all over the map as well. Sections of the map have been made into thick jungles, and some spots here and there in the east are now open prairies, which look, honestly, absolutely stunning. At the top of the Delta River is a log bridge waterfall which survived the update alongside the other cool waterfalls. This spot is one of the best places I've found to grow a Pteranodon, so if you can make it out there, enjoy the roosting rocks where you're bound to see a flock or two that you can join. The rest of the river heading south has had some major reworks like the rest of the water in the map. Heading south along the river, you'll come across this very cool looking feature which I'm just going to simply call the River Cave. This feature is pretty large and dominates most of the eastern section of the map as far as river goes. One of my absolute favorite sections of the map did not get removed or reworked, and I'm very stoked to see that it remained, and that is the awesome canyon road which leads up to the Rock Temple. The Rock Temple is the second highest spot on the map, and for the same reason as the radio tower, I recommend every Pteranodon player stop and view the map from up there. I'm thinking this Rock Temple feature is an aspect of the map that will probably stand the test of time, and I'm really hoping that it doesn't get axed come another map rework later down the road. The very small human storage structure also managed to hang around, but it's not super noteworthy other than being one of the 3 human structures that we currently have in the map, but it's still here. Now, heading down to the southeast, we have some of the most dramatic map rework yet. Our old swamps of Delta Swamp and the Round Swamp have been completely reworked into a large swamp area held back by a dam. I'm a big fan of this spot, and it's really neat to see such a huge human impact on the landscape. The swamp is massive, and really a good spot for Deinosuchus players to hang out and grow with all the fish surely about, and it's not a horrible spot for Pteranodon players either. With the removal of Bambi Swamp in the center of the map, this location has easily become the main swamp of the Isle. So expect this area to be highly popular in the future for players looking to get a drink or players looking to snag a bite to eat. Down in the very southeast of the map, generally where Round Swamp used to be, we have this new rock feature with the river wrapping around it. I like this spot, and because it's kind of off to the side of the map, it has felt a bit more secluded and safe the few times I've checked it out. The rock on the top will likely be another Pteranodon hotspot, as they have swamps and rivers nearby to fish while being able to stay safe up at the top from the predators down below, so check this place out if you're playing that Pteranodon. The roads in this area also got largely removed, but some small sections did manage to stay around, although oddly, some just end literally in a tree. This tells me that we should probably expect them to be removed entirely in the future or expanded on slightly with the next map rework, but only time will tell the history of these roads. Alright, and last but not least, that cool hidden rock cave I mentioned at the start of the video. Hidden deep in the forest at the south, this location is super easy to miss both when flying and when running around the map. It's located just southwest of the dam. This rock feature will allow you to fly down through the top or enter in one of its singular openings on the floor. With it being close enough to water and hidden enough for most players to miss it, I can see this being a really secluded and safe spot for you to hunker down in if you need to pass some time during your growth. Use it wisely before everyone knows about it, and I'm sure this video isn't really going to help keep it a secret. Alright folks, that's it for the map rework that I found. Let me know if there's any features I missed, and I'm sure the map is holding some more secrets here and there that I haven't seen. This update has been fantastic, and I'm enjoying every second that I get to play it. Let me know what you think of the map rework. Are you stoked on the river changes? Maybe you're a little bit sad to lose Utah Rock or the roads like I am, or perhaps you're just happy to see some changes and updates. I know I'm personally a huge fan that they left in our favorite waterfalls and even added some few hidden caves. That's awesome. Remember folks to like this video if you learned something new, and subscribe if you'd like to keep up to date with the Isle news and the map changes, as I'll be making videos on Evrima going forward. Thanks if you choose to join the Sauropod squad with me. Alright dudes and dudettes, that's it for me. I hope you all have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, or night, and until next time, Peace out.